Jealous? You don't have to be. You can get this and other items, useful and cool, from my friend BlackCat through redbubble.com, link in the description. So, unsurprisingly, M103 passed. But there have been a couple of surprising developments surrounding it. Now, the entire NDP voted in favor of M103, as did a couple of the Conservative Party members, but 2 Liberal Party members abstained from voting. Now, in Canada, that's a pretty strong condemnation of your party's position, to choose to not vote with them. That's kind of a big deal. The other surprising thing is the amount of attention it seems to have garnered, and not just from the usual suspects over at Rebel Media, but from certain large, well-viewed internet personalities from across the pond. Sargon of Akkad did a video on it. Dave Cullen. Crouten T has announced that he's doing a video on it. Even that young kid from down south of me, Vernaculus, has said he might take a stab at this one. It seems to be that big of a deal. Now, I appreciate they're looking into it and they're making people aware of it. That's great. But I think that for the most part, they may have overlooked what is, in my opinion, the most important chunk and therefore the most dangerous, and why it's the dangerous part. You didn't think I was going to drink coffee for the whole video, right? M103 calls for the Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage to do a study. The idea being that the committee make recommendations that the government may use to better reflect the enshrined rights and freedoms in the Constitution Acts, including the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Now, why do I think this is so insidious? It's because we have what's called hate propaganda laws in Canada. Sections 318 through 320 of our criminal code are the hate propaganda laws. Now, 320 is about warrants for seizure, basically a book burning law, and 318 is about promoting genocide, which is actually already covered, technically, in Section 21, Parties to Offense. Abetting, which is encouraging a crime of any kind, is also a crime. So if you encourage the murder of one person or encourage the murder of all the people, it's still a crime. It's already on the books. They're basically redundant. But that's 318 and 320. So we're going to talk about 319. Everyone who, by communicating statements in any public place, incites hatred against any identifiable group where such incitement is likely to lead to a breach of the peace, is guilty of A, an indictable offense, and is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years, or B, an offense punishable on summary conviction. Part 2 is titled Willful Promotion of Hatred. Everyone who, by communicating statements other than in private conversation, willfully promotes hatred against any identifiable group is guilty of A and B the same. Now, here's where it gets... Okay, not only here's where it gets stupid. That's stupid. These are unprovable. If I tell you to hate all the Muslims, and then you start attacking Muslims, and you say it's because I told you to hate them, that's not provable. You can't track that to me directly. Who's to say you didn't hate them beforehand? Who's to say you didn't find something else in between me and the actual act and then start hating them? Like, it's not a thing that can be tracked. It's just ridiculous. But where it's more ridiculous is in the section called defenses. B of the defenses. If in good faith The person expressed or attempted to establish by an argument an opinion on a religious subject or an opinion based on a belief in a religious text. So if a mosque prints leaflets telling, they don't call them parishioners, what's the word? Telling people in general why the filthy Jews are out to destroy them and you should hate them, that's not a crime under these laws. But this is now the third video that I've done on this subject, and I'm honestly not sure whether or not I've breached any of these laws. You know, I haven't exactly been nice about it. I've tried to be as honest as possible, and that's actually A in the defenses. If he establishes that the statements communicated were true. But with all this, Islam is the religion of peace, and all Muslims want is, you know, to live in harmony with everybody, which was in the Petition E-411. I'll see if I can remember to link that. If people think that, then the things I'm saying aren't true, in their mind anyway. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm, you know, my channel's too small for anyone to give a shit, so I'm okay for now. So, M103 applied to these laws. I'm not psychic, so I can't say for sure, but I am a gambler, and I would bet that the committee will recommend amending these laws to include the word Islamophobia somewhere. Putting an undefined term in, say, this section that reads, incites hatred against, so that it now reads, incites Islamophobia or hatred against. Well, that would be horrific. And I mean, we have these hate propaganda, hate speech laws. They're already horrific. Why wouldn't they do this? I don't know. That's my bet. What's the date? 25/03/2017. Irving Twin predicts this. Let's see. Let's see about that. Let's see if that happens. This is why I like Mad Max. He's spoken out against M103 publicly, spoke out against C16, which, ridiculously, manages to shoehorn everything we know about biology under this header of hate propaganda. The evidence that non-binary people don't exist, biologically, is a hate crime against non-binary people. Yeah, that's the problem with hate speech laws. God damn it. Relevant links to shit I said in the description? Maybe. I'm Irving Twin. Like, subscribe, or don't. It's a free country. At least it used to be.